Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. Good morning to you guys. I hope you survived July 4th, those of you that are in the States. And those of you that are in the rest of the world, happy Sunday. Happy, happy, happy Sunday. I hope you're enjoying your Sunday. You're relaxing, you're vibing, you're feeling the groove, you're feeling the energy, whatever it is that you're having a good time. So today I wanted to dive into two topics, which is probably going to take us all over the map anyways. And yeah, so before I dive into that, though, there are several things that I want to share with you. And before we dive into the weddings of Dua Lipa and Callum Turner and Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, and I will, hmm, um, yeah, but before we dive into those two super, super interesting events, there's some things I have to share with you. So first of all, I changed my name. Deal with it. And from here on in, it's going to be Suri Savariu. Savariu is my actual last name. And back when I first started this, and I started with Carlene Love. Carlene is my actual first name, but we're switching that. And I changed my name before. That was to my grandmother's name because I needed her cloak of protection. But now we're moving forward into a different chapter of my life. And I feel like I've finally found the vibration and the frequency that really vibes with everything. So, how I went about finding that name is I used numerology and astrology. And this is why I am offering it to you on your reading. So, any booked reading, I will be doing this name explanation with you. And I'll be using the tools I have in this video as well as we move forward with Taylor Swift and Dua Lipa. Okay. So, yeah. So, that's an offer that I'm extending to you. It's absolutely free. It's added in with any session that you book. And I'll be doing that for the next month. Okay. So, for the month of July, that's our special. Okay. So, we can have a look at your address, the name that you've been born under. And when I say that, you're going to see. I don't just do what you find on the internet. Like we go deep and we spiral deep because I like going deep. Yes. I like getting to the bottom of things, digging deeper, and so on and so forth. So that's included with all your sessions. Okay. So over the next couple months, you're going to see my name switch and change. Please don't unsubscribe. Please don't unfollow. It's still me. I'm just changing my frequency, changing the vibration to give myself a little bit more room to grow, right? Okay. All right. So let's dive in, you guys. And this is quite the topic because, as you guys know about me, I don't stay surface, and there's a deeper issue. And we'll also look at was this some kind of a mass ritual of Taylor's in New York in Madison Square Garden? I mean, why exactly this weekend, right? And so we'll have a quick peek at the astrology. And but why exactly this weekend? Why exactly this time? Because I mean, she had everything going on there. There was the World Cup stress, there is the July 4th stress. There's the weekend off. Like it is so bizarre that she would choose exactly this time where New York needs its streets a little bit freer so that she can shut down part of it, right? So we're gonna dive yes. Give me room in this kitchen and we're gonna serve up some dishes. Okay, so let's get started. First, I want to start off with Dua Lipa and Callum Turner because that's a super interesting couple as well. And and there's this saying that's flying around on the internet that whatever I desire, whatever I pray to God for, God turns around and gives do a double, right? So it's it's so bizarre. But we'll have a look. And is Dua, a little witchy, right? Because some people think, yeah, well, she did that whole, look into my bag thing and she had tarot cards in there and so on and so forth. But let's go deeper than that. Let's dive in a little bit deeper. So what I'm going to do is, one second here, I'm going to create a new tab because a new window, because then I can share this window and still stay on my screen here. Yeah. So share new tab, share. There we go. What are you guys seeing? That one? Perfect. So those of you that don't know who Dua Lipa is, let's just have a look. This is Dua Lipa, singer and songwriter. And she comes from a family of entertainers. So her family is her father used to be a rock musician in where are they from? Bosnia, Serbia, Croatia, Kosovo, Albania, exactly. So he used to be a rock musician in Albania, and then he became a producer. And she has made quite a name for herself, right? So she has two siblings, seemingly a really tight family. And she's just the one out of the family that made it. Her mother is also stunning, absolutely stunning woman. Her father is good looking as well. All of them have stayed relatively young, so to speak. And people have been following her for some time. Like she has a massive wealth. She has accumulated quite a following. And now she is married to Callum Turner. And now the interesting thing about Callum Turner is that, let me see if I can find her Instagram. Instagram. Yes. The thing about Callum is that people are kind of skeptical about him. They're wondering about him. They're thinking, maybe she is one second here. Stop share. This is a personal. So Dua Lipa, he's kind of, to a lot of people, he seems kind of shady. I don't know yet, but we're gonna have a look. And we're going to see what's going on there. But some people are a little skeptical. Now, they had a hot honeymoon, you guys. They had a beautiful, wedding, and then they had a hot honeymoon in Italy. And that is one of the issues too, is that they kind of shut down Palermo when they got married there. And it seems to be a thing. And that's why I decided to do this weddings thing, because it's not just about the wedding of Dua and Taylor. We're going to also compare it to Jeff Bezos, who shut down Venice in order to get married to Lauren Sanchez. And that was a whole thing that caused protests. And even though Jeff Bezos ended up paying a couple million, I think it was 30 million to Venice, to the city of Venice, it was still an inconvenience because they shut down everything. Like when I say they shut down Venice, they shut down Venice. Like they just shut down Venice. Like there were hotels that weren't available except to Bezos's guests. And those hotels were sometimes not even fully booked. All the gondoleros, and they were completely booked. So if you happened to be there at that time, you weren't able to take a trip down the canals of Venice because all of them, the entire guild was booked and stuff like that. So people complained so much that Bezos ended up paying an extra 30 million to the city of Venice. But still, it's at what point, right? At what point does it get like super ridiculous? At what point does it stop, And so I think that's what we're going to be diving into actually in this session is the wealth gap, right? The wealth gap and how that wealth gap is growing and how most people, right? Most people are not going to stand up against it, and especially not in Western countries, right? Because they have this mindset and they were trained to think this way that they're simply millionaires in waiting, I'm a millionaire with a temporary inconvenience, right? It's only temporary. And then I'm gonna, if I work hard enough, if I wait long enough, if I do enough, then I'm going to be able to be on that level. I have the option or the opportunity, right? And that the system gives us the options and the opportunities to be like them. So we're not going to change the system because if we change the system, we take the opportunity away. But is that really true? Or is the system perpetrating creating, right, the most massive wealth gap ever on planet Earth that we have ever had, which is happening right now as we speak. And so we'll have a look into that. But let's go back to the weddings. Let's go back to the weddings. So this, a friend of mine says he has this goblin look to him. He might, I don't know. You guys tell me. This is her man, and beautiful, beautiful photos, beautiful pictures, beautiful wedding. And like I said, they were in Palermo in Sicily, and they pretty much shut that city down to have their wedding. So let's have a look here at some questions with the cards, and have a look at first we'll start off with Dua and Callum's wedding. And if you like, you can just, wait. Maybe I'll have a picture of them some way, somehow, as I'm reading this. But if I share the screen, then I'm too small and you guys don't see the cards. So this will have to do. I'm on a live. I'm on a live. You guys are getting my time. So let's see here. Dua and Callum. So yeah, so what happened there was roads in public, and apparently too, this is really interesting, is that the way they got to know each other, right? So they happened to be at a party together, or some kind of get together, or some kind of meetup, and supposedly she was reading a book. And so she had just started that book, and they connected over that book. And books seem to be a running theme with her branding and with her image. She also has a book repository in Portugal that she's built up for banned books, right? So there's that. She's often pictured reading books. She reads. So that's a great, a thing to be promoting and to be pushing. But apparently, yeah, they bonded over a book. And what's interesting is some people are saying that they were actually with other people when they met each other. They both were dating other people when they met each other. So yeah. So yeah. Apparently he said he had just finished the first chapter, and she looked at him and said, I just finished the first chapter too. So, first of all, is this story true? Is this story true? And let's have a look at a little bit at their relationship. Okay, just staying on the surface because it's their, private thing, but just seeing, just touching a little bit base to see how this ripples into the fabric of pop culture. Okay. That's literally what we're gonna do here. So, and they live in this world kind of where they get to enjoy the best of both worlds. So a private world, of course, and this larger world. So there's this kind of dual life structure that they both have going on, right? And another thing is an ex-girlfriend of Callum popped up, and ex-girlfriend of Callum, and she popped up on some interview that I stumbled across on TikTok. And she was saying how and she looks like Dua, like she literally looks like Dua. And so he's got a type. But she was saying that he never, ever posted her on social media, like never. And he just wasn't having it. He was saying how he respects the relationship too much to put it on social media. And everybody was like, "Oh, no, no, something's not feeling right here. Something's not feeling right here." So let's have a look first. You know what? Let's dive into their who they are first as people. So first one is what everybody knows about Callum. Let's start off with him. What people don't know, but only he knows, what only others know and he doesn't know, and how spirit sees him. The overall energy is he's embarking on something new and fresh here. Okay. He's feeling on top of the world. It's a fresh new beginning for him. He's feeling on top of the world. He's looking out for messages as well. Like he is reading what is being written. He's not staying offline and he's taking it all in. Like he's not one of those people. And as I say this, watch him go on and say in a couple weeks or so, like, I never read anything about me. Not true. Not true. He reads it all. He takes it all in. And so, what everybody knows about him is he is actually someone who's very, very to himself. Okay. He's very, I wouldn't say he's not introverted in that sense, but he can definitely be extroverted, as we know. Otherwise, he wouldn't have met Dua. But he's on some kind of an inner journey. Yeah. He's on some kind of an inner journey. He's very reflective. He's got this eternal bachelor vibe about him. So this is what makes it all the more magical for him to be with Dua, is because there's this slight energy of, this eternal bachelor kind of. So and what he knows about himself is he's very sentimental. He's very hooked on his mother. He's very sentimental. There's some kind of a childhood wounding that he's still working out, still working through. There is a nostalgia that he has towards the past or past things. He looks towards the past for a lot of inspiration. I also feel there would have been someone in his past that was very difficult for him to let go of, that took him years to let go of, or release, or still is in some way, shape, or form still connected or tied to. Now, what everybody knows about him, but he doesn't know, is that he's a magician, right? So he literally doesn't see it about himself. He doesn't see it about himself. He doesn't understand the hype. He goes with it because, somehow it's working, but he has no clue about it. He's like this little kid on the inside. He's just so fascinated by it all and fascinated how things are working out for him, and he actually has no clue about it. Now, spirit knows what's coming. Okay. So I'll just leave it at this because I don't wish anyone anything, right? But there's something that is um, forming his life. Okay. That is forming his life. That is going to shape his soul. And it's going to be very difficult, a very difficult, but difficult chapter. Okay, let's have a look at Dua. Now, who is she? Now, she's a little like, yeah, she's interesting for sure. Um, hmm, Let's have a look at Dua. So everything everyone knows about her, what she knows about herself, what only others know about her, and so what's she going through right now? Okay, she is bored out of her skull. There's something that yeah. Hmm. Either she's trying to build something that's established, okay, like she's really resting, taking care of her body, taking care of her physical wellness in a sense, right? Or she is bored. Okay, so she's looking for some kind of a transformation to occur, to happen, some kind of a change in what she does, how she goes about things, but change in her work. She feels like her work is stagnating in a sense. Okay. And she's looking to be able to move into something different. Now, not completely different. Like, I don't mean she's going to switch now and all of a sudden become a museum curator. No, but her creative expression, there's something that she's going to be changing up, not immediately, but almost like not far away from now. What everybody knows about her, she's a fantastic communicator, right? So she's very quick. She's very quick. How should I put this? Like she pivots on a dime. She's very mercurial. Okay. I wouldn't say shifty, but mercurial. And so there's a quickness about her. There's a oh, over here, oh, over here. And there's a connectivity, an ability to connect here. And what she thinks about herself is, yeah, She knows. She knows. She knows. She knows, and she's fine with it. Okay. So what only others see in her, but she doesn't see about herself, is she's a survivor, and that she can fight, and that she's also she may be someone that gets very defensive. Okay, so this is also something that is um, Callum might be running into is she can become very defensive. She doesn't do criticism easily. Like it has to be, she has to see it to believe it. And if she doesn't see it, then yeah, you're out of luck. So what her deepest goal is, right? So whereas Callum's deepest goal is to heal some kind of deep, deep, deep inner wounding that he's had that might rear its head again to see if he has healed from it. Her deepest motivation is, I just want to have fun. Her life, feeling wise, feeling into it. It's like she's very family oriented. She's very close to her own family. Her family supports her, protects her, backs her, and pushes her. I think she has the family Beyonce wish she had, kind of thing. But her motivation is to do that, to always stay on top of it, to always stay on top of things, to always be the one that is celebrated, to always celebrate, to always be celebrating. She doesn't want to experience anything negative in that sense. Who does? But she's really not about that. Not about that. So what is this? How can this relationship benefit them? Okay, let's have a look at that. Instead of looking at their relationship, that's a little bit too creepy. Um, what are the lessons they're going to be taught, or what are they going to be learning through this connection? Okay, let's have a look at that. Let's have a look at that and see what plays out, right, over the next few months. So, oh, okay. So somebody's definitely giving up something. There's a loss that is occurring here due to this relationship. Okay. So somebody's giving up something, whether it is giving up living in a certain place, giving up a certain group of friends, whether it's there's something coming to an end and a new beginning that is just off the rails. So she has definitely, she's the one with the voice in this relationship, in this connection. Okay. So, she's very intuitive and she does do magic, you guys. She does. Okay. We've got the Queen of Cups, which is emotional, reflective, looking into her own cup. But we also have the Magician right next to her. Of course, it could be that she feels that this is her right person. This is her Mr. Right. Absolutely. But the first thing that came to mind that came up for me was she does workings, but I think she'd classify herself as a white witch if she did. So we have the Ten of Swords, and the Ten of Swords is indicating in between both of them, right? And in between both of them is that, first of all, they have spicy, spicy, spicy. They kind of like when they have disagreements, both of them pull timeouts, right? When they have disagreements, just each one just goes, okay, let me calm down and we'll revisit it kind of thing. But what I'm feeling here with this is that there's something coming to an end for one of them specifically. And it's the ending of a certain type of life. It's ending of a certain way of life. And there's a kind of grief to that, maybe an unexpressed grief. Of course, there's happiness and joy, but at the same time, there's this, oh, like that's the end of a chapter now. Now I'm in this phase of my life. Now we're moving. That's never coming back. It's kind of like graduating school. It's like, on the one hand, you're super happy, you're never going back to school. And on the other hand, you're like, okay, that's the end of a phase. And there's a somewhat a bittersweetness here. He's really concerned about holding on to her and holding on to his values, not getting swept away by her or her family. But he's a little bit more insecure. Okay. And I think that's what everybody's picking up on with him is that He's a little bit insecure in this. She is very, very, very secure, and you can feel it. You can feel the energy radiating off of her. You can pick it up in the frequency. She's feeling very secure. He's feeling insecure, and that's where people, I think, are getting this impression that he's a little shifty, you know. He might not be. He's just feeling a little insecure. Now, insecure men are not, yeah, nee, 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 nee. Careful now, right? So she's on top of the world, you guys. She is super, like life's a dream, and it's just gonna get better. Like that's what she feels. That's what she's thinking. She is hoping for family, or once she's already thinking about it, planning it, looking towards it. Okay. And the outcome is she might even be communicating this in her inner circle. Whereas yeah, he's a little, yeah, he's a little insecure, you guys. Okay. So this is him like focusing on his journey, of course, right? He's walking into the unknown with this. Um, and having to stand up for himself, defend it. He's feeling a little vulnerable and just wants to wall himself off from this. Okay. So, yeah. But is this a genuine connection? Yeah, I'm getting that. I am getting that it is a genuine connection, and wishing them all the very, very, very best. But that being said, what is this about with Palermo and having this big, huge wedding? And how did Palermo really react? The city of Palermo, very disappointed. They felt it was immature. They felt it was immature and disappointing. They were not impressed, not impressed. And they're standing up strong. I'm not quite sure this is going to be able to happen again. I feel like people are, it's too ostentatious. Okay. It's too ostentatious. And it's like, who do you think you are? You know? And at the end of the day, you're still human beings. You still put on your pants one leg at a time, right? And just because you have money doesn't mean you can come disrupt my life, right? That's great. Enjoy your money. And enjoy that all these millions of people are paying you so that you can go lord it over them and tell them, look how better I am than you. Enjoy it, but don't come and disrupt my life. And that's the vibe I'm picking up with this. Okay, the vibe I'm picking up with this. So we'll see. Let me check back in the chat and see where you guys are, because I don't want to lose you. They totally look cute together. Yes. They absolutely, absolutely look cute together. So, yeah, but it's interesting. It's definitely, definitely interesting. So the next one that we're going to be looking at, and then we'll look at the whole thing, is Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. And this is one that I feel people have even a bigger issue with. First of all, the whole relationship feels fake. Everything feels fake about them. Taylor is, I mean, she's got her Swifties. She's got a massive following. We know this, but and this goes with the territory. There are people that are saying, you know what? No, just no, right? Just no. So they are now a power couple. Apparently combined, they are worth 2.2 billion. These are two empires merging in a sense, right? And what's interesting is why they would choose Madison Square Garden. Now, of course, a lot of people are saying that it's due to privacy because Madison Square Garden has tunnels, right? So nobody sees them going in or going out, and nobody sees them doing anything, right? And it's completely sealed off. They had NDAs, I believe. They also had like a really strict no cell phone policy, and yeah. stuff like that. So it's a couple pictures have leaked nevertheless, but not much. I think one was of the carpet, which was kind of orangey, and that there was a whole garden theme that was built up in there. And they had Adam Sandler officiating, Adam Sandler, who is Jewish. So for you guys that are non-Americans, there's a thing in the US. I had to look this up too because I was like, how is Adam Sandler officiating this wedding? And so in the US, in New York, in the state of New York, any adult can apply for a 1-day marriage officiant license. Okay, so they didn't need a seminary degree, he just needed a form. And so he applied for that, obviously. And so, yeah, so he's a friend of both of them. And Swift has publicly said that Sandler's character in the movie Happy Gilmore 2, I think it was, inspired her song that she wrote. And he performed an original song apparently at the ceremony, according to some things that I read. But yeah, so he had a special legal permit. You can do that in the States. Can't really do that here. But yeah, that's what happened. So for those of you wondering how in heck was it Adam Sandler who did that wedding, that's how that worked. So yeah, so they tied down Madison Square Garden on July 4th weekend, which is interesting, and this is why I'm going to look deeper into it. And mm, a lot of people were complaining because their stores, their businesses literally had shut down, had difficulty. They could have shut down for 2 days because nobody could get to their business. I think there was a restaurant, an Argentinian steakhouse that was trying to reach the organization of the Swift wedding. And they were trying to reach the city to complain about it because nobody knows. Like, that's another thing. All the security that was given to this wedding, right? That is coming out of taxpayer money, unless Swift is paying for it and Kels is paying for it. But New York is not telling people who's paying for the security. So that's interesting. So New Yorkers might be the ones that are paying for Taylor Swift's wedding, which would be quite interesting. Like that would be a whole other, yeah, you know. And now what I also thought was interesting is that New York has a specific place, right, for Taylor Swift. I mean, in 2009, I don't remember if it was Madison Square Garden or if it was somewhere else, but I'm pretty sure it was in New York. Yeezy, that infamous moment where he called her out and said that she didn't deserve to get that award, that Beyonce was a real singer who deserved to get her awards. And that was a real moment in pop culture. And then he doubled down a couple of years later in Madison Square Garden, where he said that he made her famous. Actually, he said, I made that bee famous. And she cut back and says that, there are going to be people along the way who will try to undercut your success and so on and so forth. But I felt like there was a reason, like a deeper reason for Madison Square Garden. It's almost like she's um, taking ownership, taking control of New York. It's like she's grabbing that light, she's grabbing that energy in that sense. And so this is, yeah, where I want to look into. So a lot of people are saying, Taylor is a dark, dark, dark energy, and could be, could be. We're gonna have a look at that. But yeah, this is why they chose Madison Square Garden, is because it's fortress-like. It doesn't have any windows. It's completely private and controllable. I still don't get it because they can organize a wedding that is completely private and controllable on any private island, right? They can just buy one. Like, who's going to know unless somebody tips off the press, right? They can still control the airspace out there a little bit, at least. I mean, why Madison Square Garden, Like, aren't there other places in the US? Aren't there other places elsewhere? Why on a July 4th weekend, downtown New York? Like, it just, I don't know. So anyways, the wedding itself is estimated to have cost 10 to 20 million. Um, 150 to 200 New York NYPD officers that could cost between 120,000 to over a mil. And nobody knows, like I said, if 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 Swift is covering it. So let's have a look. Who is Taylor Swift really? And one card flipped out. And you guys know me. I'm not reading to validate what you already think you know. I'm reading to receive information that is meant to come through right now at this time. So let's have a look here. One card flipped out. Who is she really? How do people see her? Um, how does she see herself? How do only others see her? What does spirit have in store for her? So the overall energy that we have here is something's up, you guys. She was bored at her own wedding. Like there was something happening here at her own wedding where it was just too much for her. Okay. Too much for her. Overwhelm. Overwhelm. What is this overwhelm? Ah. This could also indicate that she was rejecting any kind of known religion or classical traditions. Okay. So the Four of Cups, as we know, is rejection. The Hierophant is tradition. So she was kind of rejecting tradition. But there was some kind of an overwhelming energy there. Overburdened, overwhelmed. Okay. So what's going on with her? How who people see her as always looking out, very ambitious, right? Very ambitious, looking forward, progressive, looking to the next chapter, looking to the next thing, looking to the next moment. Then how does she see herself and only her? And she thinks she's full of love, right? And that she's totally in love. Okay, that's what she's focusing on. She's totally in love. I believe, the energy that I'm picking up from her now, it's kind of like she's in love with the concept of being in love. She's in love with love, right? She's in love with that. And she feels or she's convinced herself that she's with her soulmate. Okay. This is very important to her. But the lovers is an archetype, and an archetype is a higher concept. Okay. So I'd be a lot more feeling about this if I were picking up like the Two of Cups, the Nine of Cups, something like that. But with the lovers, it's kind of like I love the idea, I love the archetype. I'm letting myself be guided by this idea, by this concept, by this archetype. So she's very idealistic, visual. How should I put it? Mm, she likes ideas. She likes high ideas. Okay. The words will come to me. Ace of Pentacles. Oy. So she's materialistic. Okay. That's how others see her. This is the card of how only others see her. She doesn't see it about herself. So there's opportunistic and materialistic. Okay, with the Ace of Pentacles here. Ooh, there's a way to bank. There's a way to pull things in. I mean, a great businesswoman, great business person, great business decisions. So you could see that way as well. And how Spirit sees her is very defensive. Okay. There's a strong ego here. There's a very strong, hardened sense of identity, sense of self that she may be wrestling with. Okay. So there's a strong ego here. Now, yeah. Now the one with the and I feel like she was footing the bill for most of it. That's another thing. How others see her is she was the one who's giving the money, who's footing the bill, but also making this a money-making opportunity, a money-making, thinking about how she can monetize this. So we'll see. We'll see what comes out. But the Lover's card here is, like I said, it's very idealistic. Okay, so she's more in love or in tune with the ideal, it seems, than with the reality of it. Okay. Yes, so let's see what this is about. Why Madison Square Garden? Why this weekend? Why? Why? Like just why? Because this is such an inconvenience to people. And there's something going on with the millionaires of this world that are just, yes, they're living their life, and this is their life, and this is their, way of living, and everybody deserves to live however they want to live. But at the same time, it's so unsettling. It's so distasteful almost, flaunting the wealth that they made through other human beings in those other human beings' faces. Like there's something that just doesn't jive, there's something that just doesn't work for a lot of people with that. So what is the goal here? Let's have a look. What is Spirit saying? What was the goal? What is the real motivation behind Madison Square Garden? I don't want to hear about security and because of tunnels and blah, blah, blah. I call BS on that. What is the real motivation here? In New York on July 4th weekend. That's what overwhelmed her was the massive negativity that there was some kind of a negativity that was being pushed towards that event. We see here resistance and the seven of coins. Like something almost didn't work, something almost didn't happen. There is some kind of a ritualistic intention here with the magician. This is underneath, this is the foundational card, is the magician. So there's something that was being manifested, created, worked, intended, what have you. And here we have the Ace of Cups. We have the Sun, and we have the Knight of Cups. Yeah, it's definitely a moment. Remember that at this time right now, there are all these planets in sidereal that are in Cancer. We've got Mercury also in Punarvasu, which is return of the light. And that's the nakshatra or the lunar mansion of the return of the light. Jupiter in Cancer is beautiful, like in sidereal. And I think in tropical, people were talking about Barbo's basket. And so I looked that up a little. I'm not too fluent in it, but other astrologers have been speaking about it. So if that interests you, go check it out. But I think that's considered in tropical. So this July is a special minute for manifesting things, right? For manifesting things around love, harmony, longevity, joy, happiness, family, that kind of thing. So I feel like this was a very intentional moment with the magician here. And it was a clear decision. The magician is always a clear decision. It's always a clear yes, it's a clear this is right. It's a clear moment here. And the Ace of Cups, the Sun, and the Knight of Cups. Yes, definitely definitely in this moment was and location was picked. Okay, was definitely picked. Definitely picked. It wasn't just a security decision. It wasn't just a security decision. No, no, no. We're not buying that. So we're not buying that. So, yeah. How are you guys doing? Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you're having an amazing Sunday. For those of you that are just joining, we're talking about the weddings, Dua Lipa and Taylor Swift weddings, and how they kind of echo the Jeff Bezos wedding. So, for those of you that forgot about Jeff Bezos and his wedding, where he took over Venice, let me just share that with you because that was brutal. That was really, really, really brutal. Brutal. People were shocked. Things like that had not quite been done like that before. Um, Jeff Bezos wedding take over Venice. Oh, somebody else complained about that too. Yeah. Let's see here. Let me share this with you. So I was in Venice for Jeff Bezos' wedding. Taylor Swift's anticipated New York City bash has one annoying thing in common. Yeah, so Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez held a lavish star-studded wedding celebration in Venice, Italy in late June 2025, which drew significant protests. Yes, it did, from locals who accused the couple of over-tourism and billionaire tax avoidance. The multi-million dollar festivities prompted large demonstrations, with activists even threatening to blockade canals with inflatable crocodiles to prevent venue access. The pushback over Venice turning into a playground for the elite forced the couple to alter some of their event locations, relocating parties from the central city to the historic Arsenal shipyards. Nevertheless, the 3 day extravaganza proceeded, featuring an A-list guest list that included celebrities like Kim Kardashian, Oprah Winfrey, Tom Brady. The actual ceremony was held on the secluded island of San Giorgio Maggiore, with the bride wearing a custom Dolce& and Gabbana gown. To offset the local backlash, Bezos and Sanchez reportedly donated roughly 3 million, not 30 million, sorry, I thought it was 30, to scientific research and local heritage preservation in the Venice Lagoon. It was bad. You guys, it was really, it was just so wrong on so many levels, just so tacky and so gauche. But it's yeah. And here they set the precedent, right? Now all these celebrities are going around renting out towns, renting out venues that are actually there for the public to enjoy, to what, prove how far above the public they are. And that made me think, like, what is the wealth gap now? Like, why are they doing this? So, what I found out, and I will just read it to you, is the World Inequality Report. And you can just type that into Google. World Inequality Report 2026 presents a staggering picture of the current state of global wealth. There is an extreme concentration at the top. The richest 0.001% of the world, a group of just 56,000 multimillionaires, now owns 3 times more wealth than the entire bottom half of humanity combined. Okay, let me repeat that. Let those numbers sink into your mind so that your mind generates a visual. Okay, so the richest 0.001% of the world, a group of just 56,000 multimillionaires. And remember that humanity is a couple billion strong, right? Now owns 3 times more wealth than the entire bottom half of humanity combined. This is a group small enough to fit inside a single football stadium. So that dream that people have, that American dream, like we can work for it, we just need a lucky break, we can rocky our way toward the top, it's never going to happen. That dream was always a BS story to keep the hot dog on the stick, to keep you turning the wheel, yeah? The growing divide at a global level, the top 1% alone controls 37% of all wealth, which is roughly 18 times more than the entire bottom 50%. Okay. Once again, at a global level, the top 1% alone controls 37% of all wealth, which is 18 times more than the entire bottom 50%. Data from the US Federal Reserve shows that in the US, the top 1% own about half of all corporate equities and mutual fund shares, while the bottom 50% collectively hold just 1%. If people knew, like if they really got it, like really, really, really got it, there is no, there is no we have to romanticize, right? Coming together. Like that's the thing about having a lot of money and why people chase it is because everybody knows that if you have a lot of money, you don't need anybody else, right? And if you don't have money, you need other people. And that means you have to tolerate them. You have to grow through them. You have to put up with their BS, right? And so people strive because they don't want to do that. Now, this is a super simplification. I am fully aware of that, right? So this is very, very, very generalized, but still there's a core of truth in it, ain't it? And so people don't realize that they're just operating from this premise of I'm just a temporarily broke multimillionaire. No, you're not. You are never, right? And I'm not gonna be one of those, think hard enough and you can manifest it to a certain extent. Yes, right? To a certain extent, yes, absolutely. But the system, the way it's been generated, it's time for us to think hard enough and manifest a new system so that we don't have to consistently be thinking hard enough and mentally manifesting our day-to-day necessities, right? Or hitting the next level in our career or whatever it is that you're trying to manifest. This should be something that we don't even have to think about, right? This should be something that we are at a level in humanity of creation that we can create a system like that where nobody has to worry about any of that. And that's what we should be manifesting. That's what we should be focusing on. And not being this temporarily impaired billionaire. And I'm going to maintain the system until I can become one of them and step on you, you, and you because it's so satisfying. Yeah, no, no, right? So, anyways, to put it simply, a member of the top 0.001%, average net worth around 1 billion, gains over 48 million in a single year without doing a thing, not lifting a finger, just their money working their money. 48 million without doing a thing in a single year, while a person in the bottom half gains maybe $220. And this gap is a feature of the economic system, not a random anomaly. Okay. So it's inequality is a political choice. These numbers describe a system that did not arise by accident and will not correct itself. As the report argues, inequality is not inevitable, it is a political choice. And this I am going to share with you where I'm reading this from. You need to check out this blog here. Share. There we go. So this is on the London School of Economics and Political Science. And here it says 56,000 people own 3 times more wealth than half of humanity, which is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. And I mean, when you're looking at the picture behind it, it's so accurate, right? Right. Look at all these people, and they have nothing because they're giving everything, right? Paying rent, being taxed to the Yahoo, taxes on everything 2 or 3, 4 times. Like it's just ridiculous. But we are never going to get together and throw the system over because we all believe in the system, because we've been brainwashed, because we think, right, there's a gap for us. There's a gap for us. And we're fighting to become one of them, not to level the system. That's not, we don't want equality. What? What? Because then when we become successful, right? That's not sexy if everybody's successful. What does that say about me? So why should I help break down a system if I'm still fighting to be someone in it? You guys get what I'm saying, right? Right. Yeah. So it's interesting. So the 56,000 wealthiest adults On the planet, a group that could fit inside a single football stadium owns assets three times as large as those of the poorest half of humanity combined. Consider half of the world's adult population with 2.8 billion people. Add up everything they own, their houses, their savings, their belongings, minus their debts. Then do the same for the 56,000 wealthiest adults on the planet, a group small enough to fit inside a single football stadium. The stadium's wealth would be greater. In fact, the wealth of the people of the stadium would be three times as large as that of half of humanity combined. That's the headline findings of the World Inequality Report of 2026, which this person co-authored. Income inequality is large, but wealth inequality extreme. We are literally moving into the Hunger Games and we're watching it. And we were actually being programmed for it by all these movies, right? By all these stories. And now we're just apathetic in the sight of it because it's like, yeah, this is what it is. And the cost, right? The cost, because they have taken over the most important parts, like any dictator does, which is military and law enforcement, right? So the cost of standing up against these systems that generate wealth for these 56,000 instead of for us is too high for a lot of people. It just really is. Like we have to practically look at this. So in 1995, this tiny group, just 1995, owned about 4% of the global personal wealth. By 2025, their share had risen to about 6%. Over the same 3 decades, though, the share held by the bottom of humanity barely moved, hovering around 2%. So extreme wealth inequality is not only persistent, it's increasing. And the thing is that we broke out of feudalism, right? The French burned down their empire during the French Revolution. The Americans had their American Revolution, their American Civil War, then they took out the bad guys in World War II and have been fighting evil ever since. But for some strange reason, this inequality gap is not decreasing, it's increasing consistently over time. Wealth is growing much more for the already extremely wealthy. Of course it is. So we have this guy, which you can follow on YouTube, Gary's Economics, but there's also Barry's Economics. Both are really good channels. Really, really, really good. Follow them. Barry's Economics and Gary's Economics. And Gary's Economics is, he's really ringing the alarm. He went to the London School of Economics. He was a trader. He made his money, blah, blah, blah. Some of you guys have heard of him already. And he's been talking about a wealth tax. I personally don't believe in a wealth tax. Maybe the numbers would speak for a wealth tax. Yeah. But human nature doesn't speak for a wealth tax. Okay. I'm going to tell you flat out that it's not going to make much of a difference because once it kind of equalizes, and the middle class or they start becoming wealthy, they start oppressing the lower ones. It just keeps going. The whole concept of inequality and oppression has to go. That's a much harder route to pull. And it's very difficult to pull that route. But the only way to pull it first is to see it. You can't pull out the roots of a tree that you're not looking at. Like it's just impossible. And so that's, I think the first step is to really recognize that the innate human greed and need to, I don't know, oppress. What is it? You guys tell me. Chat, please post something in the chat. So for the bottom half of the world, let's see here. Look at this. Look at this, the global wealth group and how it's moved, the wealth growth incidence curve from 1995 to 2025. Okay. For the bottom half of the world, wealth grew at about 3.4% per year after inflation. For the top 10%, it grew at 2.9%. So read through it. Inequality is not an anomaly, but a feature of the system. We know this, right? And natural reactions to numbers like these might be to assume they're driven by an outlier or a few unusual cases. They are not. As the report documents in detail, wealth inequality is extreme in every region of the world. And then there's that whole thing. Even in Europe, the region with the lowest wealth inequality in the world, it's changing over here, you guys. Those of you that are in the US and thinking, oh, Europe, you guys have free healthcare and you have this. Like Europe is definitely changing. The top 1% owns 25% of all wealth, more than 8 times what the bottom half of the population owns combined. Everywhere else, the concentration is more severe still. And in most regions of the world, the top 1% of the population owns roughly the same share or more than the bottom 90% combined. Extreme wealth concentration is not an anomaly, but a systemic trait of our economic system. These numbers describe a system, I'm repeating this, and did not arise by accident, and it will not correct itself. As the report argues, inequality is not inevitable. It is a political choice. It is the outcome of decisions about taxation, ownership, and institutional design, and different decisions would produce different outcomes. How can inequality be reduced? The report points to 2 policy levers with particularly strong evidence behind them. The first is progressive taxation all the way to the top of the distribution. When a small group accumulates wealth much faster than everyone else, that wealth tends to compound through investment returns, inheritance, and political influence, and the gap widens with each passing year. Progressive taxes slow that compounding. They also provide resources that can fund public goods which benefit everyone. Far from holding growth back, a fair distribution tends to strengthen it, since economies where most people have purchasing power and opportunity are more dynamic than economies where demand depends on a shrinking minority. The second is public investment in education. Education is the closest thing we have to a universal equalizer. Okay, so I personally think that there would have to be investment in, yes, education for all, food for all, water for all, and a living space for all. Like those basic things, and clothing, right? For children, at least. And those basic things have to be and should. I mean, that's why we have governments, is to protect the people, and people kind of forgot about that. The governments forgot about that. And they turned into the feudal lords that we all learn about, at least in Europe. I don't know what you guys learn in the US, but we learn about feudal lords and feudal fiefdoms, and nothing's changed. It's just changed names, but it's the same system, right? And they've convinced us that we've stepped out of it. No, 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 no. Yeah. So where are you guys? The chat is like super quiet today. Is a different time would be better, maybe? Let me know. Um, Well, let's see here. So this wealth inequality, we're going to see more and more of that, of course, coming up and during the next years. And but we're going to see more and more of that. You're going to realize that the fence, all those fences in movies like Mad Max and so on and so forth, and how they tried to climb the fence and get over the fence. And there was a period where gated communities were really the hot thing, and probably still are. I don't know, but the fence is in here, right? And it's literally what we're living and what we're seeing right now. What we're seeing right now. All right. So inequality is a feature of human nature. No, no, that's exactly what they're saying, is inequality is a feature of human choices. Human choices you'd think come out of human nature, but they don't. They don't. Um, the solution would have to be global, right? It seems it would take a lot for all countries to agree on them. Yeah. It could be just your country and then all countries, one after the other. I mean, the US says, look at what happens, right? And I keep repeating that, especially with the US. Like the US is the forerunner in a lot of the changes that we have in society. And because a lot of people simply do business with the US, right? And so the US then dictates, okay, if you want to do business with us, this is what has to happen. This is the way things are going to roll. And so everybody adapts according to that. So there are ways to change the entire system. And for people that say, oh, the entire world wouldn't do it, oh, really? Where were you in 2020 to 2023 when the entire world did something overnight, all at once? Like it's absolutely doable. There's zero excuse anymore. There's zero excuse anymore. It's been done. It's been done. And it can be done. It's just people are brainwashed. And like I said, they see themselves as temporarily disadvantaged millionaires and not as part of the bottom half, right? That is a very painful way to look at things. And so why would they disempower a system that eventually will allow them to become one of the oppressing class, right? Like it's just goes against personal interest, right? So it is what it is. And but yeah, and we're looking, for example, to finish that example that I was giving, ID systems, identification systems, right? Or now what's happening with the World Cup and how many countries can travel to the US and the difficulties that they had getting in there. This is going to cause a cascade of changes. And so the whole thing, right? 911, 2001, the US says, no, like you need a biometric passport to get into the US now because we're going to be logging everything. We want to be able to check everything. So the entire world started creating biometric passports to be able to travel to the US. That was the beginning of that. And so ever since, and then the US said, oh no, like if you want to travel here, you're going to have to first log in with Homeland Security and we're going to run a check, right? And so all of a sudden, a couple of years later, the entire world is doing that. You want to travel to Europe as an American, you're going to have to first enter in your data, right? And so you're able to travel here. Europeans wanting to go to Canada, same thing. You want to go to Australia, same thing, right? It's no longer what it used to be. And the thing is that people are growing up in this and they don't know how it used to be different. But it used to be different. It used to be you just booked a ticket. That's all you did was booked a ticket, booked a flight, and you flew. Wherever you wanted, you were able to travel. But now you're doing all these steps just to get to where you want to go. So there are ways to change things, and but they're taking full advantage, right, of of the power that they have to dictate our economies, to dictate our possibilities, to dictate everything, right? And we're not able to get together because it's easier in, how should I even put this? Like I said before, you want money because when you have money, you think you don't need anybody. And the thing is too, like I read this article on the bunker fights. So, the bunker fights, they've built these bunkers, everybody knows, right? They've built these underground bunkers, they built these bunkers all over the place in the case of the collapsing society. And like I said before, some scientists are saying we only have 14 years, others are saying we have only 19 years. By 2045, we'll be out of humans. Also, because the male sperm count is going down due to that's a whole other video. But there were bunker fights. They're not people, these wealthy, super wealthy people that are used to compromising and getting along with others. They're used to getting their own way and enforcing their own way. And so there were literal fights with guns and everything. You guys look it up. So they won't be surviving much longer, even though we think they would because they built their bunkers, but no. Well, maybe they'll last a couple months longer than us, but otherwise, no. Let me see here. So what would it take? What is this? What is this? What is this? And the thing is that people are like, well, they have the right to do whatever they want to do. Yes and no, right? Yes and no. Because if you're leeching, if you're a parasite leeching off of the entire lower 90%, right? You actually have a responsibility towards that 90%. What I personally believe is that these humans, there are humans that are incarnate or came in order to be faucets of abundance to others that aren't able to generate that abundance for themselves, right? And this is part of Vedic thought as well, is that, which is interesting that I'm doing that because I thought the thought and then I stumbled over the confirmation, right? Studying Vedic astrology. But I do believe that part of the wealth is how you uh, distribute your wealth. You have to be, money is a moving force, right? You have to be willing to distribute in order for it to flow in. You have to be able to receive and pass on at the same time. And so there's this constant flow of movement, right? But every time you're looking at it, all you're seeing is that it's there, right? But it's actually flowing in and out the whole time. And when we're looking, for example, at Bill Gates, yeah, and the empire that he built, and we can say what he want about him and where his foundation came from. I get it. But just looking at it, that literally there were families that lived off him, that raised their kids off him, that put their kids through school off him, that built houses off him, right? And he generated wealth or provided abundance for these people. So there are people that are incarnate to do that. They're like faucets that you turn on, abundance flows through them and blesses, let's say spiritual in our language, all these other people, right? And that's their function. Wonderful, that's great. However, when it's turned around, yeah, and these people that are meant to be faucets, generating wealth and distributing abundance to the people. Instead of doing that, they're sucking it up and they're siphoning it off the people. That is something else entirely, right? That's ew. That's ew. That's absolutely ew. And there's another example that we can look at. How is it that Miranda Kerr and what's her husband's name again? Somebody remind me. The guy that owns Snapchat, Miranda Kerr, now called Snap, and her husband, they donated, I think it was several $100 million to pay off the hospital bills of Californians, 261,000 Californians. Okay. Now, that is something that's probably in alignment. 550 million to pay the medical debts of more than 260,000 Californians. So sharing that with you. Even Spiegel. I'm just clicking on the turn. They recently made global headlines when they donated 550, about 797 Australian million, I'm guessing. Yeah, this is Australia, to pay the medical debts of more than 260,000 Californians. So instead of paying like 20,000 to rent out, yeah, Madison Square Garden, make this big show of look at how important I am. Block off streets that are blocking off the flow of abundance to New Yorkers that are there, right? Like this Argentinian steak restaurant who lost thousands of dollars over the two and couldn't reach anybody for help. Instead of doing that, like you really want to throw money out, like why not help the people that you're receiving the money from? Because this money comes from ticket sales or CD sales, right? Advertising, branding, which is more sales to more people. And that's why I keep saying like Americans don't realize they're being sold like cattle, you know? That would not fly over here. Like no, just a hard no. And it's these people are taught from day one to be consumers, to be prime beef, prime consumers. And that's why Trump can say, invest, I don't know how much it was, 20 mil or something like that, and get his golden visa because everybody wants to do business with the US because the US consumes. The US has the highest consumption rate of pretty much anything on this planet. They're consumers. It's a consumer market. And it's gotten to a point where things are going to whatever, it's going to go the way it goes. But these weddings are a symptom, and that's what I'm trying to get to by doing this video is this is a symptom of something bigger, and it's a symptom of our society, the changes in our society, the cultural changes that are coming, right? It's a symptom of this crazy wealth gap, incredible wealth gap. And now it's no longer the brand bags, right? It's no longer, oh, I'm carrying a Louis Vuitton. That means I'm like in the upper. They're like, ew. Now it's about how the surgeries in your face and what you can afford, right? So that people can actually see that you've had surgeries, Lauren Sanchez. It's about, can you rent out Madison Square Garden? Can you rent out the city of Palermo in Sicily? Can you buy an island off of Albania? That used to be a security island. Oh gosh. My friend just brought me there and I just stepped on it and I thought, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. I have to buy it. It's the earth. It's the earth. This is what I'm not, where my mind is just going. It's like buying a cloud and a piece of sky. Like, how can you own that? How can you buy that? How does that even, like, it belongs to all of us, everyone. It's the earth. I'm so over this planet. I think you guys can tell. Like, this is not going anywhere. Ah, so yeah, doing this is just so bizarre to me. Just absolutely bizarre to me. And it's not like, for these people giving that amount of money away, it doesn't faze them. And it's probably a tax write-off, for Miranda to do that donation in some way, shape, or form, right? But still, it's going to benefit 261,000 people. And I think that's like a holy mission, if you will. That's an alignment with higher, right? That I can kind of see, okay, this is the abundance faucet that has been brought in, and they're doing what they're supposed to be doing according to the divine, because I do believe if God made you a king, then be the best king you can be, right? And that is true humility, is following what God made you to be, right? Because ultimately, the ultimate basis of your being, you cannot change. It's your emanation from the God source. And so if God says be a king, then be a king and live large, right? But ultimately, a king is a servant. A king is a servant. A king is a servant, serving his people and serving the higher good by being a model of behavior, a model of, what have you, but also distributing abundance, ensuring that his country is well taken care of, is fed. And what are these people doing, right? And we worship them because we think, oh, they're showing us who we can be if we decide to get up tomorrow morning and finally have the discipline to work out like Dua Lipa. They're showing us who we can be if we finally have the discipline to write down the songs or the ideas that are floating through our heads. They're not showing the background that Dua Lipa came out of a music producer family. They're not showing the background of Taylor Swift's parents, like now they are, yeah, right? But they're not focusing on that. They're not So it's this dream, right? Of that you're just a failed millionaire. No, 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 no. This is absolutely not what life about is to wake up and to chase money until for all time. Like just be amass as much money as you can amass, and that's it, right? That's not life. That's not what we're here to do. That's not what this is about. And I feel like these people are leading humanity astray. Yeah. And I'm not saying that in this new age Christian biblical way. I'm literally like our youth is going off track, you know. We don't care because we're hopeless towards the challenges of our society. We're hopeless towards the challenges of our era instead of utilizing our incredible gifts and our incredible capacity for problem solving, right? And to find way forward. We're all tied up in the hustle. It's just I can't. And a lot of people can't. I'm not the only one. I know you guys are. I'm singing to the choir here. I know I get it. I get it. I get it. I know all of you would be doing something if you knew what to do, right? I know. And sometimes all we can do is witness. All we can do is witness and not turn our eyes away and say, I see you. I see exactly what you're about. I know what this is. So, yeah, how is this going to work out for Taylor? Okay, so there's one card that was sticking out, and I'm thinking, how is this going to work out for Taylor with her Celt's wedding? And what's the outcome going to be? So, oh no. Oh no, for all that planning and all that shutting down and all that, this is not the card that I'd hoped for. How is this going to turn out for Dua? Yeah, that one's much better. That one's much better. That one's much better. Yeah. So we really have to start, you know, witnessing, looking at things, and yeah, yeah. All right, you guys, let me get to your questions. If you have any questions, the link is in the chat box all the way at the top. Click on it. It'll take you to a website where you can enter your question and I will answer it here on the live. I am more than happy to work with you as well. And once again, if you book a session now in the month of July, you get me work. Oh, that's what I wanted to show you guys. Yes, I got this Chaldean name oracle because when I do numerology, like I did with my name, which is now Suri. So stay with me, stay with me. um, I worked with Chaldean numerology. Of course, that's one of the oldest forms of numerology, as you guys know, but also astrology. Super important to find the right name that would express the vibration I need to express. Okay. And balance out some things. So let's have a look here at the names of Taylor Swift. And one second. Let me bring up my program. And Chaldean. And share. So we're going to share these two. Okay, so let's see, Taylor Swift. So the Chaldean Oracle already, it says, literally, it shows how these people experience life or how you experience life, right? So if you want to tell me your name in the chat, but it has to be your real name, okay? Or the name that you're called by, at least the most. We can pull this up and see what comes up. So in any case, this is based on old information. Like this is not stuff that you'll find on the internet. And so one thing that her soul at this in this life with this name is rotating around is one thing is resolution. She's always looking for resolution. If things aren't resolved, it bothers her. Like she goes back over it and over it and over it again. And that's part of her songwriting process, right? That we can intuitively sense is that her writing out her feelings, writing out her emotions, writing about all those failed relationships before and her exes and all of that is a way for her to find resolution, right? To come to closure with things. Then pardon and liberty. This is a huge thing for her to be able to walk away from things. This is how she also deals with things, how she dealt with, for example, Kanye West, right? And she appeared to be very generous, even though it affected her deeply. Perfection and labor. Yeah, I know. Say what you will about Taylor, but she is a hard worker. We know this, right? So she seeks perfection. She puts in a lot of labor. This is what is her themes, her overarching themes that she's working with under this name vibration at this time. Let's have a look at Dua Lipa. And of course, this is not the only form of numerology that I'll be working with. Like I said, there are other things that I'll be working with as well. So just book your session and let's dive into it. And the thing is that it describes frequency. So there's a whole frequency calculator that I also work with, right? And we tap into the frequencies that you can listen to, that you can tune to, that you can vibe to, and see how that helps you attune your own frequency as well. It works. I promise you, it is so beautiful. It is so, so, so beautiful. So in any case, Dua Lipa, Dua, with this Chaldean Kabbalistic, oracle, she's also someone who seeks resolution. She does it in a different way than Taylor, but at the same time, she's also someone that doesn't like leaving things unresolved, doesn't like leaving things, you know, unfinished. But she is also often in her personal life, either she feels blind or blindsided, I'd like to say, is prone to error or prone to illusions, affliction, okay? How she perceives things, how she sees things. It's often the way she wants to see them, not necessarily the way things are. So she's really protected by the people that are around her, right? Really, really, really protected by the people that are around her. And there we have the stars, happiness, graces, and marriage. So this is going to be a huge chapter of her life, a very significant portion of her life, very, very influential in her life and the direction that her life takes on a spiritual level, right? On a spiritual level. So Callum, and we've got a strength, initiated, science, the graces, imperfection, and there we see the insecurity, like it's baked into his system. Okay, it's baked into his system. So this imperfection, diminution, grief, pain, and expectation. Okay, so this exactly what I was picking up before, right? This insecurity that he carries that was shown in the Four of Coins card, which is also his insecurity around finances and money, even though he has, but he's still feeling, he's not on a level with her, or he's trying to get on a level with her, whatever. But it shows that he does have a certain level of strength, that he is on a soul level, someone who's initiated in a sense. It shows that he has a scientific way of going about things. He likes learning about things, experiencing, exploring things, knowing about things, and that he has a grace, right, which would show his artistic side of things. So grace is in this case is kind of like focusing on the artsy side of things, right? So a musical grace or an artistic grace. Then we have, who was it? Travis Kells. Yeah, mercy and ignorance of the doctrines of Christianity. So I find when this pops up, ignorance of the, and again, this is like ancient, this is coming from ancient texts, like way back when. And when this pops up, this, I find the people, because of course I use this on everybody I know, right? Everybody, like my family, friends, all of it. And so when this pops up, these people can be stunningly, starkly unempathetic. These are people that are just zero empathy towards others. And they get that way when they feel attacked or when they feel defensive. And then everything just shuts down. They just go and they don't care. Like when I tell you they don't care, they don't care. So I feel like Taylor's in for something because up until now he's and maybe he pushes this I don't careness about him, right? This unempathetic side of him, he still keeps it on the outside. So does that to others, and that's very sexy for women, when the guy is strong on the outside and he's assertive in the outer world, but then gets very soft in the private inner world, right? And so it could be that he's playing that game, but at the foundations of it is when push comes to shove and it is over with them, he is not to be messed with, not to be messed with. So I hope, and I'm pretty sure she has because she's the same, I wouldn't say the same way, but she's not naive. We know that about her. So she's probably got some kind of safety net there, but yeah, he's here to learn mercy. He's here to learn about mercy. That's what I'm feeling because that ignorance of the doctrines of Christianity, that's on a soul level, is this soul doesn't know about the Christ principles, okay? Is here to learn about the Christ principles. So this soul came in kicking and fighting and just pushing forward and is now going to be learning about Christ principles of patience and love and acceptance and tolerance and all of that. And as you guys know, yeah, I don't need to expand on that because it's pretty self-explanatory. So yeah. And just for kicks, let's do Jeff Bezos. And I'm using Jeff Bezos because that has his brand name, right? So this is the name that has been amplified and energized and spoken over and over and over and over again. So this is the one that is holding frequency power in his field. And this is one, here we have mercy. So he's here learning about mercy. He can't stand unresolved things. There is a tearing. Oh, that's another thing with the irresolution is there's a tearing in the soul, right? There's an unresolvedness in the soul that needs to be resolved. So that goes for Dua and Taylor as well. That there's some kind of a soul question, a burning soul question at the bottom of the soul, an ambivalence, a doubt that is being explored in this life. And it's like a sand corn all the way at the bottom. Widowhood, interesting, right? So feeling widowhood on the charts that I've done so far, there's usually tends to be people that no matter they could be standing in a crowd and they still feel alone, like a crowd of supporters and lovers and they'll still feel alone. There's if I would maybe I'll go into the software if I can and update the phraseology, but I don't want to change it because, right? But widowhood, I'd put loneliness, like a deep core loneliness, that is very hard to overcome. And solidity, wisdom, and power. Need I say more? Okay. And just for kicks, let's do Lauren Sanchez, and then I'm done here. Yeah. So, those of you that know Lauren's story, she certainly had her set of wars, combats, and struggles. And as soft as she appears and shows up as, she's definitely no child of how should I put this? Like she will stand up for herself. She will defend herself. I wouldn't mess with Lauren. And but here we also have blindness, error, and affliction, right? This is someone who can be very obtuse and oblivious. Oblivious. Let's rent Venice, Jeff. She's not the wife to tell him might not be a good idea. Let's find something else where we can blow millions. And she's it's not her. She can be very, yeah, oblivious. And religion, and that's another dua, also oblivious. That's another word I was looking for with her. Religion, destiny, the soul, and charms. So she is, some people say she's charismatic. I don't know. But I do feel that she's asking deeper questions about life, the origin of life, the reasoning for life, the consciousness. She's part of those questions and conversations that are happening in her world around that topic. Okay. Yeah, so there's definitely that. Um, let me switch to Chaldean. And let's see here. Let's start with, I'll just do Taylor and Dua, and that's it. Whoops. Didn't I enter automatic? I want it consonant. So we've got here a bunch of fours in her name. And so the 9 is very destructive, right? In Chaldean, it's in Pythagorean, we speak about the 9 and we say it's endings, and these are teachers, and they're gentle, and they go through all these endings in their life, and la 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 la. In Chaldean, we speak about the straight up. These are enders, right? So they can be very destructive people. They can be people that have absolutely no problem with martial energy or martial things. They can be experienced as being destructive. They can be experienced as being people who are, I wouldn't say she's driven by hate, but she's definitely motivated by, I don't want to say she's motivated by hate because that wouldn't be quite right. How should I put this? Negative states of emotions, right? Generate inspirational states for her. Okay, let's put it that way. So how she appears is the 31-4, the knows people that know her. She's consistent, she's stable, she shows up. The 31 has a specific meaning. I don't know every base compound off by heart, so let me just look that up really quick here. Give me a second, you guys. And I'm looking for the number 31 and that is the misunderstood genius. There you go. So this is someone who's original, a genius, who has a desire for solitude. The number 31-4 provides deep intelligence, a unique life mission, transformative healing qualities. There's a tendency in the number 31-4 to always be secluded, misunderstood. We know this about her. It can give a slightly introverted and nerdy personality. And she does thrive on that nerdy personality that can have a difficult time communicating with other people. She can be very idealistic and think great thoughts, but at the same time feel that the norms of society do not match her wishes and ideologies. She has expressed this time and time again. So I feel like this is absolutely accurate to her. There can be a tendency in 31-4 to look down on humanity, Madison Square Garden, and think that others are idiots or fools. And I feel like that's what came up, with that 10 of Wands card that initially came up in the reading for her on her wedding, and her feeling absolutely overwhelmed by it all, right? So there's something happened there. 31-4 will feel drawn to a life purpose that is not by the book. They need to add something unique and create something that has not seen the day of light before. They are innovative, cutting edge, and so on and so forth. They communicate, they withdraw from society, feel lonely and misunderstood, and so on and so forth. So, nutshell, a number of deep thoughts, genius, and intelligence. Transforming the world through innovation and unique ideas, challenging status quo with different and unique thinking, analytical and good with systems, data, and science. Now, the unbalanced side of the 31, they're very introverted and feel different and unaccepted by others. She has spoken about that ad nauseum, all the school bullying that she went through, and so on and so forth. And then that was actually mirrored in the beginning of her career, and Yi like really brought it out, like this rejection that she was experiencing back then, thinking that other people are stupid and motivated by low desires, dejected and has no faith in the world and other people, not sharing the norms of society and cannot find its place, very odd and has strange, peculiar habits and ways of doing things. So that's her personality number. Okay. Now her her life yeah, life, or yeah, not life path number, but her experience number is 44. So let me see here. And 4 is a very solid pathway, like it's a manifestor number. 4s manifest extremely well. And this is the archetype of the hermit. And so it gives high intelligence, almost autistic abilities, strong and distinctive attitudes to life and society, contrasting personality, spiritual tests and trials. Pretty much the same thing as the 31-4, just enhanced. And can also add a trial period or a tension in life that needs to be traversed, kind of like the 40 days of temptation in the desert that Christ had to go through. So there's that. Okay. So let's have a look. I think that's pretty accurate to her. Let me know, you guys, what you think. Let's have a look at Dua Lipa. And I added one eye too many, and we've got a lot of 6 numbers. So the Venusian energy. That's super interesting, right? Super interesting. The 4 in Vedic is Rahu energy, right? Rahu is 4, Ketu is 7, Venus is 6, Jupiter is 3, the moon is 2, the sun is 1, Mercury is 5, right? Saturn is 8, and the sun is 1, I said, yeah. Right. So it's interesting how the flavors of these personalities as well, like they match the planets, right? So this Rahu energy I feel totally matches Taylor, like this never more and bigger, and there's something clawy almost, about her energy, drawing things in. And Dua is very Venusian, absolutely, very, very Venus energy here. So the 9, but what's interesting is they're both 9. They're unafraid of fights. They don't back down. They don't step down. And if they have to end things, they do. Dua also has the 9 on the vowel level, the soul level, the inner level, her inner stance to things, her inner feeling about things. The expression number is a 15-6, which is interesting because in the tarot, that's the card of the devil. And the devil is, of course, the master of this world, the master of the material realm. So take from that what you will. But here it's a Venus number. This is literally the feminine force. This is the number of the feminine force. And this is magnetism and beauty, drama, and healing. It's a number of charisma, sensuality, aesthetic power, mysterious attraction. It's charm and presence. It's feminine, alluring, enigmatic. It carries strong pleasure, energy, refined taste, a natural ability to draw attention. Like this is all Dua. People often feel the 15-6 before they understand it. They can be warm, hypnotic, emotionally vivid, intensely felt in a room. And it's often linked to a subtle occult tone in traditional numerology language. It has an unusual sensitivity to atmospheres and the unseen emotional layer behind what people say and do. It's beauty as impact. And so there's a lot here. Like it's very, 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 very beautiful. Um, this is someone who can dominate emotional landscapes and even creating them, shaping mood and drama. This is someone who's incredibly charismatic and good at performing. But the dark Venus trap is that these people need drama as fuel. They use charm as control. And so they do image games, subtle manipulations, seduction for advantage instead of for love. They do relationship testing, jealousy loops, emotional stories, that kind of thing. So it can be very up and down with Dua. Very, very up and down. It's like a roller coaster with this girl. And then she's got the 24-6. So again, another Venus, Venus, Venus total energy is Venus. And I think the 24 is a very similar to the 15-6, but we're going to see. This is the archetype of the queen. So that's the archetype she's stepping into. Okay. She's going to become through this marriage as well, but also as her natural development. She's stepping into a queen. I keep wanting to compare her to Beyonce, and I don't know yet why. Okay. I don't yet know why. I guess we'll see why soon. But she is in her name carrying the vibration of the queen archetype. So this is beauty, unity, social power, belonging, charisma, family like unity. She makes people around her feel like family, right? They feel like she generates a tribe and loyalty within the tribe. Often admired, socially supported. That's the number of the 24. And so the shadow frequency is love equals obligation, that people feel obligated to her when they love her, and the tribal shadow, so that she creates closed groups, right? So you belong and you don't belong, that kind of thing. So it's yeah, but she needs to not rescue others. That's another thing. I don't think she really does, but she has the capacity for it, the energy for it. Yeah. All righty, you guys, my throat is going hoarse, so I'm going to stop share here and get to your questions and see what's coming up for you. Now I've done enough on celebrities, so let's see what's coming up for you, and let's have a look at the questions that you guys have posted. And we've got my friend that is getting married is suggested I get a nanny, Danny, for the day to help with my children. I don't trust anyone, but I'm thinking it's probably needed as I'm a bridesmaid. Oh, Danny. I can feel your hesitation from last week too. Like, do I have to go? I don't want to go. Let's see here. What's coming up for you? And yeah, it's also a It's like this investment is a little bit more than what you wanted to do. That's what's coming up for me, is that this is a little bit deeper investment than what you actually wanted to do. We've got the strength card and the I don't know, like what's being offered here. Do I really want it? Do I really want to do something for it? Do I really want to invest in it? Do I really want to work for this? Do I really want to like so you're like, you're not liking the decision at all. And you're feeling like, it's, yeah. Since you're asking, should you do it or not? Let me pull a card. Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no? Should you do it or not? Yes or no? And it's a yes. Go for it. Enjoy yourself. Have fun. And you're going to have fun. You're going to have fun. See it in a different way. See it as a time to share beautiful energies, joyous energies, as a time to anchor that into the planet here, and for you to experience that as well, for you to experience happiness, joy, fun times, have a story to tell again, get that energy frequency into your body, radiate it out, like all of that. Yeah. So yeah, you're going to be fine. It's going to be fine. And I feel like a recommendation is coming to you through your circle of friends. So there's somebody who you know that would be willing to help out. Okay. So your acquaintances or circle of friends. Okay. So somebody that you know knows somebody and that will help you out. It will be able to help out. Can I get an advice card from Spirit, Shaka, for the coming weeks? An advice card for Spirit for the coming weeks. And let's have a look here. Yeah. Ooh, let's see here. Shaka, advice card for the coming weeks. For the coming weeks, what's coming up for you? Uh, Shaka, it's time for you to start building community. Yeah. It's feeling like you're still unsure what to do. It's unsure how to step up and out, or there's something that has you feeling stuck. And even though you've come a long way, the Nine of Pentacles, you still feel trapped for some reason, mentally or some other way, with the Eight of Swords. And we're seeing here with the Five of Pentacles and the Moon card that there's anxiety around being rejected, not belonging, not quite sure. But yeah, there's something going on here where it's time you need to get out and have experiences with people. Whoopsies. Experiences with people in order to find your footing again. Okay. And that means experiences with relationships, with encountering other people, to find your ground, just to practice, right? I feel rotational dating, it used to be a thing. Yeah, people used to talk about this all the time. And I think rotational dating is wonderful. Like you go out there and you're not doing anything harmful to yourself, okay? Never that. And that means for women, it's very important to have a clear vessel, right? But you're having dinners, you're going to movies, you're going to cultural events, you're meeting people, you're having interesting conversations, you're just getting to know someone with no expectations, like zero expectations, just seeing and you're letting yourself be wined and dined, and you're practicing your relationship habits. This is super important. You have to practice your habits in order to break them when it comes to relationships and how you relate and how you allow others to relate to you. You have to be able to say no. You have to run up against those boundaries, and then stand for yourself and say no so the universe can recalibrate, and recalculate and reconfigure around you. You have to do that. So I feel like saying, get Bumble, get Hinge. Remember Mandani and his wife? They got to know each other on Hinge. So you never know. You never know who you meet. And but yeah, and just start. And I know a lot of people say I hate apps, and I totally get it, but this is 2026. And unfortunately, that's where a lot of people live. And so just, take a deep breath in, take a deep breath out, just have fun with it. Zero expectations, none. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. And or but have fun and practice. Practice connecting with people, practice speaking your truth, practice not being accepted for that truth. Practice letting it go. Practice not trying to change someone. Practice not having any expectations, and practice letting yourself be wined and dined. Practice letting yourself be treated the way you should have been treated your entire life. Practice receiving. Practice letting someone else take care of it. Practice letting somebody said that and it just stuck in my mind. If you're dating someone, right, as a woman, and you're dating a man, and he can't even plan a date, like he's leaving all that up to you, how is he going to plan your life, right? How is he going to plan his life with you in it? So it's really important that you take your time to filter through all these little behaviors to really see with someone, is this a right fit or a right match? And I feel like there's some kind of energy here where you might be isolating yourself, where you might be withholding, pulling back, not really, waiting for the pizza delivery guy to be the multimillionaire that you're always looking for. And that's sadly, that's just not how this world, this dynamic, even though I don't want to limit it, miracles happen all the time, everywhere. Absolutely. Disclaimer, but right, it doesn't hurt to prepare yourself for the miracle that the universe has waiting for you. So that's the message that I'm getting for you. And I hope, I hope, I hope that works for you. Okay, and let's see here. Renita Ray. And we got Hi, Suri. Hi, Renita. I appreciate your wisdom and intuition. My question is, what is my focus for this week? And she's asking for the Chaldean Oracle. So let's get to it. I'm going to write Renita Ray because I'm guessing that is your name. And let's see here. I want to share this one and this one. Renita Ray. Well, let me just do Renita first. And so one of the things is that in this life with that name, and you tell me in the chat, in the comment section there in the chat, is irresolution. So a lot of things often feel to you like they cannot be resolved, or they are unresolved, or you can't find resolution. You can't find closure to something. It just hangs there and sticks with you. Could be emotionally, you name it. And another big topic of yours that's super important for you is health and harmony, well-being and balance, that kind of thing. Harmonious spaces are important for you. They are actually, it's non-negotiable. And I keep telling, my friends, my daughter, people, there are several things in life that are non-negotiable, absolutely zero compromise, nada. Number one is the people you hang with and that you let into your inner circle. No compromises, none. Sorry. And you can compromise on topics with them, but you cannot compromise about them, about who they are, right? So and the second thing is the food that you eat and the water that you drink. And the third thing is the house that you live in. Those three things, no compromise, none. None, none, none. Spirituality, no compromise, right? So, but everything else, you can compromise on the car you drive. You can compromise on the clothes you wear. You can even compromise on the workspace that you have for a while, not forever, right? But there are certain things that are uncompromisable. And for you, what's really important is harmony. Things have to be peaceful around you. They have to be beautiful around you. They have to be balanced around you. If it's not, you can have health issues as a result of that. So stress, tummy, stuff like that, right? Let me add the Ray to your name and see what comes up. Whoops, slip of my little finger. Here, strength, love, happiness, and voluptuousness. Yay! You tell me if these tag words, keywords mean anything to you. Intuitively, what I'm picking up is, of course, that you are a strong person, but that life has always also demanded that you are strong. Life has demanded that you show strength, and love and happiness is a important aspect of life to you, like an important motivating factor, experience factor that you need to have, that you desire to have, that you have to have, cannot live without. Okay. So that's what's coming up for you. I hope you're still here and that you didn't, get impatient and disappear. But I'd love it to be able to read in the chat if this lands for you. And let's see, let me pull one card. What I need to array. No, in this case, I want it to be a consonant because there already is a vowel. So you're a builder. You've got the 22-4. You start off with the 8. So there is a power, like the 8 carries themes around power, themes around structures, hard work, limitations, darkness, emotional heaviness, the need to also be perfect in what you do, the need to succeed, the need to drive, right? Um, Externally, you express as a 14-5. So that 14-5 indicates that there may be a lot of changes, and there may be you may grow, of course, through, you're very intellectual as well, mercurial. You may grow through changes that you experience in life. Okay. And then the 22-4 is, this is a master number. This is a number of building, manifesting, creating. Good. Goddess of social work. Yay, I'm here. Yes, I love the word voluptuousness, harmony, and love. Good, 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 good. Okay, so that's what's coming up for you. Let me check here. And your focus for this week, let's see. You've got the 3 of coins. Okay, so it's all about work, 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 talent, talent, talent. What am I here to do? How can I make myself better in what I do? How can I do better? How can I shine more? There may also be recognition, acknowledgement in some way coming towards you. So expect some kind of a compliment this week on your work. You will be complimented at your work, because of your work, through your work. Okay. So that seems to be or your talent in some way, shape, or form is showing itself this week, and you will receive compliments on it. Yay! So that's what's coming up. Let me look up very quickly the 14-5, because that is a compound number that is, let's see here. 14-5, and we've got the mediator. That's the archetype that you present to the outer world, to the external world, is the mediator. The governing planet is Mercury. Yes, and so the signature of communication mastery, networking power, union of opposites. So these people know what to say and to whom, and they are always in the right place at the right time. They are connectors. They make deals happen, connections happen, agreements happen. They are navigators of opportunities. So they are bridge builders. And yes, they grow through change. So there's always some kind of a change that's happening. in your experience. And if you use it correctly, these can be rungs on the ladder of growth to you. Okay. Yes. All righty. Moving onward. If again, you guys, if you have any questions, post it. Check the link that is posted at the top of the chat, and I will be more than happy to look into things for you. If you have a specific date that you want to look at, let me know as well. And yeah. All right. So let me stop sharing here. Moving on to the next one. And we've got Elena, is my current location the best fit for me right now? Is my current location the best fit for me right now? Is my current location the best fit for me right now? Elena de Leon. Current location, yes or no? Current location. You need to fix your sleep, Elena. There's something about your sleep, okay? That's popping up intuitively. There's something about your sleep, not sleeping correctly, not sleeping right. Yeah, something. So the first card is the Devil. The second card is Five of Wands. The third card is Ace of Wands. Ace of Wands, I want to focus in on that one because this is choice. It is personal choice and willpower, making new beginnings, new starts based on your will, taking the staff, taking the stand, taking the opportunity, right? Taking the initiative. This is the Ace of Wands. So it feels like there's some kind of a situation that you're in right now where you feel you have to struggle. It's too much of a struggle. It's too hard to fight. And it's I'm supposed to be doing this on YouTube now. Sorry, you guys. There's some kind of a attachment. It's like an attachment that you can't get rid of, that you can't let go of, that you can't release. And the Five of Wands is indicating that it is a struggle for you, a daily struggle. So you're going to have to come up with the energy to make that change. You have to take the initiative. And when you do that, what is the outcome? What is the outcome, please? Of initiative or change? What is the outcome? Page of Swords, Ten of Wands. That is the outcome here, and the High Priestess. This is something I think before you take the initiative, you will have to take the initiative. But before you take the initiative, you have to be clear about what exactly it is that you want, where it is that you want to end up. Be totally clear about it. Write it out, spell it out, vision board it, do all that. And make it really, really clear to you, what am I looking for? Because you don't want to move just out of frustration. You don't want to move just out of anger. You don't want to move just because, oh, I'm not feeling good here, but you have zero clue what you actually want or what you want to move into. You need to have that first. That's your first building block. And then everything else flows out of that. Then you'll know what to do, when to do it, how to do it. And you're not doing it out of a reaction because, oh, I hate it here, because that will become the new seed of your next step. And then you'll end up hating it there too. Okay. I hope that makes sense, but that's what's coming up. Yay. All right, you guys, that seems to conclude it. And thank you so much for being here. And let me see what else is. I don't follow celebrities. Oh, thank you, Ahmed. Thank you. Thank you. I don't follow celebrities or sports, but Travis and Taylor felt fake. It feels engineered to portray a certain image to the American people. 100%. 100. TNT. Sunscapes. Have you noticed any difference after the CE CERN shutdown? I noticed there was anxiety in my chest and now it's gone. Feels like being back in childhood. Yes, 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 yes. I feel like my thinking is clearer, right? It's there's something about the energy that has become clearer in the world. And they're supposed to be, so for those of you that don't know, CERN, the Large Hadron Collider in Switzerland, France, has been shut down. And they're shutting down until 2030. Why is this magic number of 2030 popping up everywhere? What is it about 2030 that everybody is aiming for? I mean, why 2030, right? So something is happening in 2030. And I feel like it's because we're on course to whatever we're supposed to be meeting, whoever we're supposed to be meeting, whatever we're hooking up with in this grand universe. That's 2030 because too many are focused on that, right? Too many. So in the meantime, though, CERN will not doing anything. They're going to be doing routine maintenance and they're building a bigger, better machine. So they're focused on splitting more particles, right? And I think they stated they had several million, I think, boson Higgs particles pop up. Was it several million? Oh, look it up, you guys. But the Higgs particle, which was initially cried out as the God particle because they said it was the very first form of materialization out of the non-material, right? So they're going down, 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 down. And they said this was the ultimate God particle because it was the literally the first manifestation into, right, this realm. And so they've been splitting that and splitting it and trying to get further down the chain, but they can't. So yeah. So in any case, they're building something bigger now because I guess wherever they wanted to end. And the fascinating thing to me is what do we do with this knowledge? You know, like it's so incredible to me that people and governments and countries will spend billions on this, which is absolutely necessary for sure. We have to know, about our environment and so on and so forth. But with our spiritual development, and wouldn't this money first be fantastic if we first used it to eradicate all problems as much as we could of poverty, of water, of plastic in our oceans, in our tap water, of hormones, of food, of education, of women, of child poverty, of everybody has a house, And that is so doable. Like the problems that we have are unnecessary. They are political choices. Absolutely. Absolutely unnecessary. And we're dumping so much money into these ventures that what are we going to do with it with the consciousness that we have, right? It's like why? So I I don't know. Hi Jess, it's been a while since I caught your live. Blessings to you. Blessings to you too. Yeah. But yes, regarding CERN, I felt the energy shift for sure. It's feeling better. There's a lightness almost back that wasn't there for a while. Yeah. Let's pull a card on it and see what pops up. Let me see. CERN. CERN and the shutdown. And how will it return? CERN. 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 Yeah, so we see here the star, so definitely progressive, looking for humanity. And it is a search for God because that's what the Knight of Cups is doing. The Knight of Cups is looking to fill its cup. It's looking to find answers on its questions around love. And so in this case, it's the questions, the eternal questions about creation, about God, the stars, who we are, where we come from. Then we have the Page of Swords, gathering information. They're also integrating the information that they have. There's a financial leak. There's something with finances that is happening that they're not really releasing to the public, but there's something happening here. Um, and also I feel like there's a rejection that is happening. They got as far as they could with their research, and then for some reason, some aspect of reality is like, no. They're coming at it with a battering ram, and reality is like, ew, no. It's like there's some aspect of them not getting what they wanted, what they really went to look for. And also waiting, I suddenly heard waiting for a message. They're in communication with something or someone or something, and communication has failed. Communication is not coming through anymore. This reminds, oh, I haven't thought about that in so long. I'm gonna link it in the description box, but years ago, I did this video on this other experiment that they were doing with this entity and speaking with this entity from the future that was telling them how to do certain things. And I'll link it. I'll link it in the, it's really interesting. I'll link it in the description box below. Yeah, 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 yeah. Check it out. So I feel like communication has stopped. Like there's some kind of communication that they were having with some kind of a entity, life form, you name it, and it stopped. They're not receiving information anymore. They don't know how to continue. They don't want to continue. They're going to wait until they hear from it, that kind of energy essence thing. And the final card that is coming up is the Hanged Man. They're going to wait. So literally, this was face down, so I didn't see it, but they're going to wait. Yeah, they're going to wait. Okay, so that's CERN. That's CERN. You guys know me by now, small little corner here on the internet, but some way, somehow, there's only so far, there has been one thing that I was stunned by, and that was the election results in 2024. And otherwise, I have to say, the information that comes through has been pretty on point. Yeah. Anyways, you guys book your session. You'll get a free me edition, edition numerology to your reading. Okay. Where we dive into your numbers, but in a way that you haven't had or experienced before. So it's going to be quite interesting, and sign up. The links are in the description box below this video. Otherwise, I'm wishing you a wonderful, beautiful, amazing rest of your weekend. I hope you get to enjoy it. I hope you get to receive lots of love and knowledge that you are valued, that your life is worthy here. Okay? Wishing you all the best. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Take care. Bye.